What's up, guys? Hungrybox here once again, and today I would love to discuss the newest official tier list released for Melee. That's right, the first Melee tier list released since 2015 has officially been released by PGstats, and of course they went through this entire process of obtaining these tiers and their placement, which they explain in their article, but I want to give my personal take on it and show you sort of, what I think about this list and these characters, because I mean, as a Puff player, her placement on the tier list, especially due to my results, especially from 2017 to 2019, has caused a lot of top players to really ramp up her placement, whereas in the online era that might have changed a little bit given my less better results. But in general, a lot of people have sort of been vying and arguing over many reasons what their definition of top tier versus high tier is, and also some discussion about who really is bottom tier has come up a lot in the past year. So without further ado, I want to get right into it. This is the PGstats 13th official Melee tier list, and yes, I will open the PGstats open beta and accept your cookies. And so I'll go ahead and give the primer here. For the first time since 2015, Melee has a new tier list coordinated by Ryobi and Practical Tasks. It's a survey completed by 64 of the top 100 Melee players plus Armada. I think I forgot to submit 9. Damn it. Anyways, or maybe I did. I don't even know. Maybe they used my list. I don't even know. Without further ado, PGstats presents the 13th official Melee tier list. Maybe they used my video that I made a while ago on it to talk about it, but all right. So let's take a look at this and break it down. Right. So starting with F tier, the usual suspects, you have Kirby and Bowser. I think this is pretty non-controversial. Those are by far the worst two characters in the game. Every once in a while, Pichu would be grouped down there with them, but I guess given the advent of the fact that Pichu can actually do something, at least. The D tier is like characters that can actually do something, but in this place for Mewtwo and Roy, I think mainly is because of Lef and Zane, respectively, who have used them as like they're sort of lower bottom tier secondaries in tournaments and showing the potential. Zane, the fact that Zane's been able to win regionals with Roy, I think can even push him up to C tier. I know Zane is obviously like a freak of nature and ridiculously good at Melee, but he's also showcased what the character can do. But anyways, in F tier, yeah, there's Bowser is just without armor in this game, being that big, that bulky, that slow, and that relatively easy to kill, it's no doubt he's the worst character in Melee. He will never win a national, can never be viable. Kirby, same idea. There is this guy, Captain Pretzel, who has been playing Kirby, which you should check out on netplay. He's actually been beating Falcos because Kirby can actually absorb Falco and use the lasers against them, and actually Kirby with Falco lasers goes up to like this tier, I think, or something like that. But in general, yeah, Kirby, horrible kit, useless throws, very slow in the air. It's like he took Puff and took everything out that made Puff a great character. But apart from that, not too controversial. D tier, like I said, Mewtwo and Roy belong above Pichu, Ness, and Zelda for sure. They put Pichu above Ness, which is interesting. I think Ness is actually unexplored, especially with sort of double jump cancel stuff. And I think Pichu, I don't really know why a lot of people put Pichu above Ness and Zelda. Like, Zelda is pretty much garbage as well, but at least she has like the back air and the forward air kill potential to cheese out people, good recovery. And I really think Sheik and Zelda should be sort of put together as one character. I actually don't think Zelda should be considered a standalone character, only because like a lot of times Sheik players use Zelda for recovery, and it's weird to put them as separate characters. So I think for future tier lists, it should just be like 25 characters, not, just 26, or maybe have an inclusion of it. But I guess if you consider Zelda using Sheik occasionally versus Sheik using Zelda occasionally, obviously Zelda belongs down there. Pretty horrible. And so right above it, you have DK, Young Link, and Mr. Game & Watch. Now, I do feel that like these are all characters that can actually perform well against some of the higher tier characters. We've seen guys like Aklo with Link and Axe with Young Link, of course, Armada with the Young Link counter pick, and a few normal DK players. They've been able to take games and sets off of high tier and top tier mains using these characters, and of course, notably with Game & Watch Curb and recently Forest. Forest was able to take a game off me playing Puff with Game & Watch, proving that if this character had been completed and the L-Kensing for this character had even been put into place, I think it would be a force to be reckoned with. But in general, I don't really see too much of a controversy there either. Young Link above Link, that's fine. I think having more speed and just having more options against the floaties is better. But Aklo's Link, you should really give it a watch because he was able to like destroy Lod with Link, and it was just something to behold. And apart from DK, I can't really name any like top tier DKs off the top of my head. I know Rishi was secondary DK, but I think a lot of people, even without having notable players, a lot of top players probably just put DK higher on the list because they know the character's potential. And of course, Ganondorf right where he belongs, and I guess I put Mario there too. I always call Ganondorf like the line, right? He is the wall. He is like anyone above him can do really well and make top 8 at national tournaments. Anyone below him almost will never make top 8 at a national tournament. I think that's just the rule of thumb. And Ganondorf himself probably won't ever make top 8 either because he's just simply too big and too bulky. He's extremely strong, and if the only stage in the game was Yoshi's Story, Ganondorf would be a B tier character, and I mean that with full seriousness. But the fact is, Yoshi's Story is not the only stage. He's deal with Dreamland, with FD, you know, and it's just Pokemon Stadium, and it's just not good enough for him. He simply doesn't have the speed and the finesse the rest of characters do. And then Mario right below him, I definitely do think that Mario is, you know, not as good as any of these characters above him. But I don't know. I mean, like, the thing with Mario is that, like, his aerials just don't have, you know, exactly what you need. His back air is, like, not strong enough to kill. His nair is, like, okay, but kills a high percent. His up air combos into stuff. His down air is kind of a twist. His forward air is a spike, but you can meteor cancel it, and it's, you know, his kill potential really only goes down or is determined by either getting a cape gimp, or obviously he has a really good forward smash, really good up smash, decent down smash. But to me, I'm gonna tell the same thing I tell every Mario main: just play Dr. Mario. Like, the amount of options that Dr. Mario has compared to Mario, with few drawbacks, is just so much better. Like, Doc's cape is better, his forward air kills at crazy low percents, his down smash is crazy fast, crazy strong, his forward smash is super strong, but it does have less range. His up smash has a lot of knockback, and your character is pretty much stunned into place. Got great grab combos and amazing back air. I don't know. I just feel like there's no point in playing Mario if Doc is right there. I mean, they are relatively close in this tier list, but just showing you the fact that they're in different tiers and Ganondorf is wedged right between them probably speaks for it. And of course, Luigi. I have no shock in my mind that all the plumbers are all grouped so close together. At this point, we're gonna call Ganondorf is a plumber. We're just gonna call this is the plumber tier right here, or the plumber cutoff. But of course, with Dr. Mario, we've seen like Shroom, and Franz has had some good showings, but Shroom, notably in the past, was able to make top 8 with solo Dr. Mario. Of course, the meta has changed a lot. And then Luigi, we've of course had players like Eddie Mexico, and of course a Bait, who made top 8 at Big House 5, I believe. Lots of good Luigi players have shown this character can do some crazy stuff. He's very slippery, and with things like misfires, with things like ceiling glitches, with things like just his frame data, his nair that comes out so quickly, he's a very just strange character, and the strangeness alone sort of propels him into the fact that he can be a viable character that can go on a big run, and his matchup spread really isn't that bad. If he only had a better recovery, he could definitely be up here alongside Ice Climbers, but his recovery, of course, is his Achilles heel, his complete downfall. And Dr. Mario, same thing, pretty crap recovery, has good pills for it. You know, Mario has, of course, that sort of up B wall jump glitch. Dr. Mario has an up B cancel, but it's really hard and not really practical to pull off, I don't think. So far for this tier list, I kind of agree with almost all of it, except for Pichu being above Ness, which is, you know, I'm a Ness player, and I guess that's semantics. And then this tier as well, I've never been a huge fan of Mario being considered that good of a character. I think like Ganondorf should be maybe in a tier by himself here, and put Mario maybe at the top of C tier or right below DK. But apart from that, not too controversial. And I like the fact that they did put a C plus and T minus tier, and then I like the fact they put the B plus and B minus tier. Like they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiers in this game, which I think is actually more than okay, because the meta has developed so much that these are all very arguable stats. Now, when it comes to the tier right above Luigi and Doc, you know, these are the characters that on a really good run could win a national, right? We've seen Duck with Samus do this, and in early cases Plup get second place or go on runs. We've seen Yoshi with Amsa do this in Japanese tournaments. We've seen Pikachu, of course, Axe being his main and almost sole rep, win the entire Smash Summit, which is like basically the hardest event in the world, the hardest invitational to win. And Ice Climbers, of course, just the fact that they have handoff still, and this tier list I assume is in the current meta of Melee. This tier list is assuming that Ices don't have wobbling, and even still at the top of B plus tier, which is fine to me, because even without wobbling, we've seen guys like Slug and Frostbite. We've seen some incredible net play Ices that have able to get it like insane strings and basically 0 deaths, the same exact result as a wobble, just with handoffs. It just makes the character, I guess, fundamentally more honest, and it's more difficult to pull off this really hard 0 death instead of just hitting A at a certain BPM, which I think is a pretty fair trade-off. Like, it shows that to earn this kill, you have to pull off the same amount of know-how, the same amount of reads, and the same technical precision as most of these other characters need to also get a kill. So I think it balances the character, and it does separate them from the S and A tiers. So I think that placement is good. Another thing to note before going to the S and A tiers is the fact that you have these arrows, right? They have sort of, you know, where these characters are. Bowser dropping 1, Kirby going up 1, Zelda dropping, Ness staying where he is, Pichu going up, Roy going down, weirdly enough, even though Don't Test Me has been a thing, Mewtwo going up. These are all just showing you currently like where their placement was compared to 2015 to where they are now. And it's kind of hilarious that Ganondorf and Mario are in the exact same spot. And that Pikachu is in the exact same spot. And of course, you notice there's only one other character in the same spot in the S and A tier, and I'll discuss that in a second. But yeah, basically, the B plus tier comes down to how well the representative of their character is doing. If Axe did not exist, Pikachu is not in B plus tier. Pikachu is B minus, maybe even C plus, and I mean that honestly. If Axe did not exist, this character is not up here. And the thing with Yoshi, Amsa isn't the only rep. In the Wi-Fi era, we've seen a lot of Yoshi players actually step it up. I think Yoshi is actually the most underrated character in Melee, and I completely agree with the placement of him being above Samus, and I actually might even put Yoshi above Pikachu, if I'm being honest. I think Yoshi is actually top 9 in the game. We've seen Amsa's the main rep, but we've seen guys like Nez, we've seen Bzim, we've seen Whiskers. Like Yoshi, and the fact that you can do such incredible double jump maneuvers and parries against the entire cast, and the combo strings you can get and the damage output, and the fact that Yoshi's recovery is really weird and hard to gimp. Like, this character is a massive threat, only limited by how technically proficient you are. And in the future, I really would not be surprised if an NA Yoshi really climbed the ranks, made it into top 15 in the world, even further. Like, this character has so much unlock potential, it's insane. Axe has sort of shown what Pikachu can do, you know, the thing with Pikachu is that, like, you can combo the hell out of the Spaceys, you can Zero Death them on FD, you can gimp them. Pikachu's only big problem really is, you know, Jigglypuff, and I guess Sheik. Puff and Sheik, you know, because Puff, you just can't combo them, and it's just a war of attrition, and then Sheik can just have really crazy chain grabs. But against, like, Falcon, we've seen Wizzy, we've seen Axe beat all the Falcons, we've seen Axe never lose to a Marth, pretty much. That's a huge thing. Marth versus Pikachu. Pikachu is like the Marth demon. Like, Marth has an amazing spread of matchups, like, throughout the entire cast, except for Pikachu, which for some reason every Marth struggles with by design, and I guess occasionally Falcon and Sheik. But Pikachu is the only B tier that really gives Marth a really hard time when you know how to play him. So, and then we have the S and A tier. So yeah, S and A tier, probably the most, you know, hotly debated, right? S and A tier is like where all the arguments start, and people be like, no, but I think this and that. Well, here's my take on it. So S and A tier. For this list in particular, S and A tier are compromised. Sheik, Falcon, and Peach in that order for A tier. You'll notice that Peach went down 1, Falcon went up 1, and Sheik went down 1. Falcon is a better character than Peach. I mean, it used to be considered the opposite, but Falcon is a better character than Peach. And you can actually, it was Mango who recently said, you know, sort of the importance of solo maining characters and who is viable, who can and can't. And like, it's beyond a shadow of a doubt. You can solo main Falcon and win nationals. We're seeing S2J, namely right now, just do absolutely amazing things. I mean, he 3-0'd me in an online tournament. He's been beating Spaceys. He 3-0'd Zane. He can beat any character. Falcon can beat any character. I don't care what chain grabs you have on him. I don't care if it's a Falco. Yeah, it hurts being come to hell, and it hurts having that recovery, but Falcon on the stage has so much pressure you can put on and such an insane damage output that the character is just good enough to be in this spot. He belongs there, and we're actually seeing more Falcons placing in first and second than Sheiks recently. So believe it or not, it might sound weird, but I wouldn't be surprised in the future where Falcon goes above Sheik. Just because representatives are just doing that much better, and Sheik Sheik is an amazing character. I mean, right above him, she went down 1 spot, as did Falco, according to 2015, which means that, you know, Sheik and Falco were above Puff in the previous tier list, but now they're below them, I'm pretty sure, from 2015. And of course, down here you have the sort of the pluses and minuses of where they went and who had the biggest change and who didn't. But just the fact that, you know, you have Sheik at 5th, you know, the character will never be below A tier, ever. She's just too good of a character, way too fast options, and even in that play era, like new Sheiks like Ben and Jmook, you know, they've been really stepping it up and showing the potential of this character. Plup's been recently inactive. Mewtwo King is essentially on a full hiatus from Melee, which were the 2 main Sheik reps, but now there's a lot more stepping it up, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see more new Sheik players really push it forward in the future. Peach, of course, the main rep right now we have is Triff in Europe, and Kalamazoo and NA has been doing really well, and Lot, of course, doing really well. And then we get to the S tier. I mean, this is it. This is the controversial tier. Where is Puff placed? And on the 13th official tier list of Melee, they put Puff at 3rd, below Fox and Marth, and above Falco. And I gotta be honest, as of right now, I know it might be because of recency bias, I don't think Puff is top 3. I think Puff is the same thing as last time. I think Puff is tied with Sheik for 4th place in Super Smash Bros. Melee. And I think I'm always going to believe that. I simply think Fox and Marth are the 2 best characters in this game. I mean, I can go into another like summary as to why I do that. I don't think it's really necessary. Marth, just watch Zane's Marth, or watch IBW or Mango's or Leffen's Fox, or Moki's Fox. Like, watch the Foxes, especially the new box Foxes. You know, Hacks and Zups and all those guys. Pipsqueak, I think, uses the box as well. Just watch what they can do now in the current meta, and a reminder that Shine is a frame 1 move, and a reminder that this character can kill the entire cast so quickly, and a reminder that the only matchup this character loses is to Marth. And you'll see why he stayed at rank 1 even over the past 6 years. Just too good of a character, but Marth really isn't that far behind with the current meta. Marth, the fact that you can, and now with perfect pivot tippers and all that, you can just body the whole cast. You really can body the whole cast, apart from like Pikachu, which I have trouble with. Just chain grabs, incredible range, incredible wave dash, incredible grab range. Everything a character could want. The only weakness Marth has is that he can be juggled, and his recovery can be exploited if you're smart. But Marth now has a lot of ways to mix the recovery by stalling with side B and mixing up the up B timings, and even using fairs to come down. He has a lot of mix-ups, and the fact that I struggle so much to get reads on Marth of multiple levels really speaks for that. So the top 2 I agree with. I just think I don't know. I think that a lot of people now have really understood the Puff matchup. It could just me being salty about it. But I think a lot of people have just been playing the matchup wrong for so many years. And I really wish that this tier list was indicative of that. I really wish that this would have represented, like, Puff is not as good as Falco by design. I mean, Falco, best rush down in the game, best projectile in the game with laser, insane combos on any character, can just zero to death. Not zero to death, but, like, just pillar combo everyone in the game, do insane outputs. The recovery is up B, obviously not very good, but his side B is very, very quick. He has insane out of shield options, really good kill power, the best jump in the game. There's a lot of things which make him so damn good. And Puff, as a Puff player, look, she's a great character. I'm not gonna lie, she's a top tier character. But it's just the fact that in the current meta, I think Puff just really needs to be that much more careful, because the Falcos now have a zero death, or not zero death, but the Falcos now have, you know, options off kill throws, up throw if you don't SDI laser. The Marths have pivot tipper. Fox is Fox. The Peach players are playing way more defensively. Falcon players like S2J have figured out sort of jab grab conversions and down throw knees that work every single time. Wizzy's method of top platform camping. Even the Sheiks now have figured out just how to stay very, very safe against Puff, not go for bad grabs, not go for bad moves that get rested. They make it that much more difficult. Icy still have handoffs. Yoshi versus Puff is just a... Oh, it's so hard and annoying because the characters, you have to just do one hit at a time. It's work with Puff now. It's work. I mean, it never hasn't been work. It's actually been really hard this whole time, which, depending on how much credit you give Puff players for, it's your opinion. But more than ever, because of Slippy, people finally understand this matchup. And I will not be shocked if during the 14th tier list, Puff goes down, and Falco, maybe even Sheik go up, maybe even Falcon. I don't even know. We're gonna see what happens. But I do think Puff shouldn't be third. I don't think Puff's a top 3 character. And I think the Swedes, okay, not the Swedes, but the general amount of people who claim Puff is the best character in the game really have no... That's bullshit. I'll say it now. I think it's just complete bullshit. I think it'll always be bullshit. Puff will never be the best character in Melee as long as Fox and Marth exist. It's just, there's no... Especially, the only argument they had is if you did the whole Puff ledge stall thing where you don't, you don't interact for an entire match. That I understand, but we have a 60 ledge grab limit rule for that now as well. So that's taken out of the equation. There's just no argument. There's no argument. There's no matchup spread argument to have Puff better than Marth and Fox. And I'm glad they at least didn't do something ludicrous like put Puff that high. But I still don't think Puff's high. I think Falco's better than Puff. I think I said that last time too. And that's my take on the list. I really do think that it's going to change a lot, but the fact is now that COVID is slowly, hopefully coming to an end, at least here in the United States, little by little, and hopefully we'll start having national tournaments offline again. I'm really curious to see where the meta will head, but I know that Slippy does provide an outlet for practice for tons of these players, tons of hidden bosses, and tons of talent that was untapped previously. And that talent isn't only reserved to the top tiers, it's reserved to the entire game. So let me know your thoughts, let me know what you think about Puff's placing, and let me know where you think the Melee meta will head in the next coming years. As usual, I'm Hungrybox. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching. And yeah, I'll be playing more Melee and seeing how factual that Puff placement is, because I have my thoughts. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.